Hey guys, welcome to the RoundTable. This is episode 68. I'm Jenny Walker, the social media ministry leader here at Life. And this is Mike Hill, our pastor, lead pastor.
Oh my gosh.
I really wanted to say senior.
You had to throw in something before it.
Yeah. And this is our special guest, Morgan here. And apparently I spelled her name wrong. So if you received the text, I apologize.
No, this is what everybody loves about you.
That I can't pronounce names, right?
No, that like you think tornadoes happen in Florida.
They do, though.
You don't spell names
do,
right.
though.
Forget pictures.
Yeah, or when you
send things off on time.
I know.
Or when she would say like one state that's, you thought was
Nebraska.
in the United States.
Nebraska, or was it Nevada?
Yeah, it was just something weird. Like that's what everybody loves about you because you really don't mind.
No, I don't at all. If my stupidity makes somebody else laugh.
It's not stupidity. It's just uniqueness.
Yeah. My uniqueness makes
like
you laugh.
Everybody loves
fine.
the uniqueness.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't really care.
No.
Yeah,
that's
what makes you. That's the part that makes you beautiful. The uniqueness.
Thanks.
Right?
We're all unique.
That's what I'm saying. You can just kind of keep the uniqueness about yourself.
I'll keep it going. I'll misspell something else next. Just to keep it in true character.
Yeah. So Morgan, it's great to have you on.
Thank you.
We were talking a little bit about, before the podcast, a little bit of the things that have changed. So we like to just spend a lot of our time getting to know you because for our guests, that seems to be way more interesting than Jenny and I bantering back and forth.
I guess so.
Right? Yeah,
they've gotten sick of our lives.
Jokes and our
I don't know how I could.
Huh? Thank you. I had the best jokes ever.
Yeah, she couldn't remember any of them, but it's still good.
Still so
uniqueness.
Funny. Yeah, exactly.
Uniqueness.
Exactly.
Yeah, so Morgan, we're going to take some opportunity to tell us a little bit about you, like what's going on in your life now and what's happening with you or things that you love to do, and then kind of take a trip down memory lane and kind of go back and talk through how you grew up, what were some of the important things of your life, and then kind of journey with you through there. So talk a little bit about what's going on in your life now.
Nothing really. I mean, we just started senior year at HU, so
that's nothing really.
I know. You're doing a lot. You're doing a lot.
I've been in school for 3 years and I'm finally at the end.
Right.
It is. And somebody asked me the other day, they're like, does it feel different being a senior from like a junior? I'm like, okay, kind of. Like, I know that's kind of weird, but like it does because in the back of your mind, like it's over after this.
Yeah.
Like you're done and you're officially like a big kid.
Yeah.
So I'm like, kind of scary, but it's fine. It'll be fun. So that, and then.
What are you going to school for?
Exercise science.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, there's a lot of things I can do with it. I want to do everything, all the things. It's so bad. I'm like,
what are the things that you can do? Okay, now this is too high. What are the things that you can do with exercise science?
So you can go to grad school and be like chiropractor, physical therapist, things like that. But I don't think I really want to that, at least right now. So probably just like personal training, strength and conditioning, nutrition. I love CrossFit. My favorite thing ever.
Yeah, you
so
do.
like I want to open up a gym and then like coach competitive athletes, but also just help people get like on track and just like create a good community because like I've been to a lot of CrossFit gyms where like it's just a big clique. Mm-hmm. And so like if you're not in the clique, then it's very hard to go there, have fun, enjoy, whatever. So like I love coming to champs because like even though I don't do what they do in class, I'm still like important in a way and like everyone still cares and you still get invited to go do things or whatever. So like that's kind of the community that I'd rather create than just like, oh well, you're not in our clique, then you're not cool.
Which is funny about the CrossFit culture.
Yeah, I know.
Because it very much is like you're in or you're out.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like they say everything is like culture based. Like the gym up in Fort Wayne isn't terrible that I go to. So like that one's pretty good. But yeah, everything is like CrossFit's culture. And I'm like, well, the 3 I've been to, they're like not very nice there. So I don't know what to do.
Right.
So they're saying they're like culture based and that they are like community based and everything else.
I always said the reason we started after we, Champs first started as a gym for high schoolers. So
really?
So I started it with 2 other football coaches. And the idea was that we were going to train athletes that couldn't afford to go to the gyms in Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
Like the gyms in Fort Wayne were $300 a month, like AWP and some of these other things. So I'm like, let's recreate it for a Huntington culture. Let's give kids an opportunity. And so it started off with, we used to train football teams, volleyball teams, and then we'd have combines. So we'd bring college coaches down.
Oh, that's so
kids
cool.
would work out. That's why we have the turf. So they would come and they would work out on the turf. College coaches would come, they'd watch them work out, and then we'd help them get scholarships.
Oh,
that's
wow.
how, that's how Champs
I never knew
started,
that.
and that's why, you see the turf and the equipment that we had. That kind of faded away because then Huntington North decided we don't want you training our kids. We only want to do them at the high school, you know, and so we want to kind of keep it under wraps at the high school. So because Huntington is this whole, there's not multiple schools. So when one school makes a decision,
you're out.
You essentially lose all the kids.
Right.
So we still did small groups of kids, but then we thought, what do you do next? And it was like CrossFit because it's like a cult.
Yeah.
Like once you get people in it, I mean,
is.
CrossFit is like a cult. Like people are, you know, in. And I mean, they are, but again, that breaking into that culture, right? And, you know, doing all of those things the way, you know, they wanted it to be done and it's very difficult to do. And people were very cultish.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's like the cult of like, you buy the same protein powder, you buy the same shoes, you buy Noble clothes, you buy like, if you don't do those things, like if you don't do those things, like you're not like the rich CrossFitter, you're not the real CrossFitter, you're not whatever. And I'm like, I'm a broke college student. I don't need that either. Like, just get me actual like good quality workout clothes.
Right.
And I'm good.
Yeah.
Like,
because that's the other thing about CrossFit. It's like way expensive.
Yeah.
Like at the time, that's why we were saying, hey, we'll do it for this because the normal CrossFit gym is, I don't remember what it was. And we still couldn't break into that whole like CrossFit culture. But again, it must have been a God thing because I think what we're doing today is way better.
Oh, absolutely.
You know? And so what it's evolved into. And,
yeah.
So you have, again, and we'll get into this later. So you have ideas of how you want to do that and how you want to tie those things together. And you were saying earlier you got engaged.
Yeah.
Yeah. When?
So June 4th, I got engaged. He said that it was going to be, so in December, he was like, you know, we should get a photographer, you know, get birthday pictures, whatever, like that'd be fun. I'm like, okay, like that'd be fun, whatever. I was like, I know somebody, let me text her and we'll get it all set up. So, but whatever, I kind of knew it was coming, didn't know like the day. So as it started to get closer, I'm like, why would he want pictures? Like he never wants pictures. I want like, so why would, if we got engaged, we'd have to get them again. Why would he do that? That'd be so silly.
Right.
So I was like, is this when it's going to happen? He's like, no, when I get on Avon Fire Department, like I want to make sure I have job security, sign the paperwork, whatever. And so,
which makes sense.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, like, I guess that makes sense. Well, he did it anyways. And then that next day, everything with Avon became official. So it was like so cool because it was like kind of like what he said, but he just surprised it in the pictures.
And when did you guys get together? Wasn't it like?
It was so short. It was last year, like right before I came back. So it was literally August 12th, which is the day we're getting married. So August 12th last year.
That's cute.
Yeah.
And you like, I remember like when you got in this relationship, like you felt like you knew he was the one from the beginning. Yeah. Cause you knew you knew of my ex. And it was like, I'd come in here crying all the time, like in pain, have something to say. Like it was just terrible. Yeah. And I was like, I'm not going to leave. Like I don't quit during relationships. Like I try to work everything out. Like that's just not who I am. Yeah. But it just was not working.
Yeah. So was it a long-term relationship?
Not
like
really.
The one beforehand, before this?
It was literally like 8 months and we were done. But
it
I
was the
like,
college one. Yeah.
Okay.
She was just in a really bad spot. I remember that when we went on that trip.
Yeah.
And just seeing your side of it and hearing everything. I mean, every day you would come in.
Yeah. I remember talking to Alicia, just like crying one morning, like, bro, she demolished me in a workout, which is like not like me because I like could not, like I just had a bad night before. Like he did something that I did not like. And so I came in the next day and I just was like crying throughout a workout. I'm like, who am I? What is this? Like, this is just not me. Yeah. But I was like, I just don't give up. Like, that's just not who I am.
It made you a different person.
It did.
And I didn't even really like know you before that, but I could tell that that wasn't you.
Yeah, no.
It's crazy because this relationship began at a Christian college.
Yeah.
And that's where he was from, right?
So we met through a friend. So my friend and I went to HU and then he went to Manchester. So they went to like, what school was it? Concordia in Fort Wayne together. So it was like kind of through that way.
Yeah. So it was like a Christian friend setting you up.
Yeah, kind of. And so, and he like pretended to be like Christian, you know, love the Bible and things like that. And then like towards the end, he's like, that's not me. I don't want that. And I'm like, you really faked this for that long? Like how do you do that?
Oh, you can.
Like, how do you fake yourself?
You can. I know some people that have done that.
I understand. I cannot fake. Like, I just can't be fake.
Yeah, I couldn't either.
Right. And then how did you meet, your fiance?
We met at work. So it's kind of
funny. So you guys were just working together and just hung out?
So he asked one of my friends out because he's like, bro, I have not been on a date in 3 years. Might as well try again. You know, like whatever.
Bro.
And so that didn't work out with them. And so I was like, hey, like I kind of had the feeling he liked me. I was like, why not try? You know, whatever.
Right.
So I texted, I was like, hey, what's his Snapchat? Like, he did have something to tell me. I'll tell you, later. Yeah. And so then sadly, I kind of realized that friend was not good for me. So like once we got together, I kind of stopped talking to that friend, which probably was not the best decision of mine. But like in the long run, it was a lot better for me. But yeah, so we kind of met that way. So like I got a Snapchat and the next day we hung out and like just talked and talked about serious things.
Snapchat.
Oh yeah, Snapchat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I didn't even know Snapchat still exists.
Like,
oh yeah.
Yeah. We talked at work a lot. It was just like more friend play, things like that. But yeah, it was just like, oh, hey, let me get his number that way because I don't have his phone number and I didn't know if she did. So I was like, that'll be easier. And so he texted me that next morning and we hung out that next night.
So did you have feelings for him when you were working?
I always thought we were friends for a long time, like for the few months. And then like literally that 2 or 3 days, I was like, no, this is something more. And I'm not a patient person. So I was like, I have to get his number right now. Like this, I can't wait until he makes a move. And apparently he liked me for like 4 weeks and was too scared to say anything. Yeah. So I'm like, you're a chicken. Like, why are you a baby? I literally had to make the first move.
That's guys for you.
Like, you're the worst.
Guys won't make the first move?
I mean, I think they will, but I think they take a minute too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because they want to make sure that you're not going to deny them.
Yeah. That's what he didn't want to get into another sucky thing.
Oh, because he was in a bad relationship before that, the one that he just got out of.
Yeah, it had been like 3 years. So he had been like single for like 3 years, but the one like.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you hadn't dated a lot in between you? Mm-mm. Really?
Yeah. He was like,
wow.
Was he just that broken from the original one?
Like, I think he was for a hot minute, but he like that relationship was bad anyway. So he was kind of happy it was over. But I just think that he was like, no, I don't want anything.
Doesn't need to be around any crazy women.
Yeah. He's like, there's no need for that. Girls are crazy.
See?
Except you.
Huh?
Well,
a little bit. I can't. So you're getting married this year?
Yeah. So
wait, August?
Next August.
Oh, I'm like, I was really
August is over, Jenny.
I was like really confused there for a second. I'm like, is it August 7th? Because that's today's August 6th or September 6th.
Yeah, it's over. August is over. So a year from now.
Yeah, a year from now.
Done with school, get done with school, get married.
Hopefully have a job. So, yeah.
Hopefully you have a gym.
Right?
What?
That won't be hard. Getting a job?
I feel like not as a personal trainer or something. Like, everyone needs help. Mm-hmm. Like, you can do it online. You can do it in person. You can do it wherever.
Right.
So,
you can do your own Insta.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like finding a gym that helps you get it done. And I always think that's the key.
Yeah.
Because if you have it, obviously the personality and people are looking for that kind of stuff all the time.
I wouldn't want to work with somebody who's like drill sergeant, which I mean, I can be, but like, I
like a drill sergeant?
Fun. That's what my parents say. They're like,
really?
You are like this. I'm like, yeah, when you guys don't listen to me or like when I know something and you guys aren't taking my advice, I'm going to be like that because
that's parents though.
Or even my
They're
brother.
different. So do you think you'll be that way when you personal train somebody?
I don't think so.
Like who's that one lady that's really intense? She was on the Biggest Loser.
Oh, Jillian?
Yes, Jillian Michaels.
I think like I might ask them like, yo, which one do you prefer? Like,
what do you want? Do you want me to yell at you?
I have multiple personalities.
I want you to yell at me.
Like, because I know, like, for me, I handle both. So, like, I know my training partner is, like, super, like, let's get this done, whatever. And I work well in that environment. But also, if there's, like, too much of that, then I'm like, this is not fun.
Like yelling?
Like, I cannot do this. But with gymnastics, I was raised in, like, that yelling, like, soldier, kind of environment. So.
Yep, be in the crutches for, like, 5 minutes. Or not crutches, but splits for like 5 minutes.
Yeah, and then they like sit on you.
Oh yes.
Do what?
So in gymnastics, like they would have like these like kind of like blocks, not necessarily blocks, but you would do your crutches and you'd have both of your legs on them. Oh my gosh, why do I keep saying crutches? Doing your split. So you'd have both legs on these and they would come around and push your waist down. So you were like,
so your legs
so you're in a V and they're pushing you down for like a middle split.
Yeah, it's insane.
Wow. That sounds awful.
Yeah. It is awful.
Don't ask me to do it because I can't.
I know. I
revolted from that.
I sat down the other day with my legs. I don't even know what I was doing, but I was like, I could never. I'm so not flexible anymore.
I know.
Okay, so I'm going to try to prove a theory.
Okay.
Because you're really into working out.
Right.
So what do you like to do for fun?
Work out.
Yeah.
That
was my theory. People that are into...
Actually, I like hiking.
I was about to say, but that's working out.
Okay, well, it's working out. That's my point. People that are way deep into fitness, you're like, what do you do for fun? Well, go on a mile run, 10-mile hike, work out on a little bit more.
Go shopping, hang out with my friends.
Well, it is fun.
It is fun.
Going on a hike is so fun. Because you have a pass and she goes to all the state parks.
Yeah, so I got, for Christmas, my grandparents love hiking too. And so they're like, oh, we know you and John love hiking, whatever. So they gave us an Indiana State pass. And so every time I just get it in for free.
What did you just get? You won something, or not won something, but you did something that you got an award. Or not award. Remember, you got a sticker?
Oh, okay. So I'm such a nerd. Listen to this. So I'm such a nerd. So some Indiana State, the state parks have challenges that you can do.
So cool.
And so Pokagon, here's my little sticker.
You have it on your, there it is. That's right.
Yeah. So you just tell the people that you want to do the challenge and they'll be like, okay, well, go take pictures at this point and then come back, show us, we'll give you prize, water bottle, shirts, stickers, whatever. I'm like, well, I'm doing all of these and I have a water bottle that has all my stickers on them. So it's a fun way to kind of be outside.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah, people that are into working out are into working out.
Yeah, they'll want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
State park challenges.
Yeah. So take us back a little bit. Tell us how you grew up, where you're from, kind of talk us about your whole, go to church, grow up in a church, kind of how that all worked and how that kind of played into your life.
Yeah. So I grew up near Indy. And so I grew up as my family was Catholic. So my mom actually wasn't, but my dad was. And so, but
Seems
we still.
A theme lately.
Yeah.
Yes. We've heard a lot of people on here that were Catholics.
Yeah. So we always, everyone still went. And we would go, most Sundays, unless my brother had baseball, we'd go to Sunday school. But I felt at home that we didn't really practice it. It was just the Sunday, okay, it's over, whatever.
Right.
Which was normal to me, And then as we got older, the priests would be hard to understand. So they'd be Asian or something. It was very hard, especially for my dad who understood what they were saying. I never understood growing up what anything they were saying. So for me, it was so hard to go to church and care. And so when they started not really being able to speak English, my dad's that's it. I'm done. I can't do this. I can't understand. We tried moving churches, whatever. And so we kind of just stopped going. We'd be the Christmas, Easter, every once in a while people, especially if my brother didn't have baseball, try to go. And at that point, obviously, we were older. We didn't really have Sunday school. And so it didn't really matter. And this is kind of weird, but I saw these girls on Instagram and I'm like, gosh, their comments are so godly, whatever. And I'm like, I want to be like that. That's not a good thing to do. But it kind of gave me something to work for, kind of look towards. But I'm like, where do you even start?
Right.
My church was not like that. Right. I don't know. So I came to Huntington. I golfed my freshman year, and so that's why I came. So then,
you did what?
I golfed my freshman
year. You golfed?
Yeah.
So you came on a golf scholarship?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah. It just did not end well.
Really?
Yeah. So we don't golf anymore.
Okay. We don't talk about it either.
I just don't golf. John's always will you go golfing? No, not touching a golf club.
So that's a bad.
Wait a second. Let's kind of go back. So you golfed in high school.
Yeah. So I had to quit gymnastics because I got sick for a year and a half.
Whoa.
Yeah. I had mycoplasma pneumonia, mono, sinus infection, strep, bronchitis, all these things kind of piled up at once. No one knew why. It took them forever to figure out what was going on. Lots of specialists. Yeah. So I was freshman year of high school.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was kind of
So gymnastics
crazy.
Was your thing?
Yeah, so I grew up as a gymnast. So,
okay.
Yeah, so from 3 to 14 or whatever that was.
That's a lot of years to put into that for it to just be gone.
You got mycoplasma pneumonia.
Yeah, no, for real.
Because
maybe
you breathe in the chalk and
crazy.
Yeah.
No, I mean isn't it it's way worse than anything?
It's a lot of work.
It's so much work.
A lot of work.
Yeah.
So I grew up in that, and so. Then when I quit, I was okay, I want to do CrossFit, pole vault, and golf. My friends that quit gymnastics play golf. Why not try it? How hard can it be? Whatever. Anyways, it's so hard. I think it's honestly harder than gymnastics.
No.
Like the mental side of it. Because like with gymnastics, perfect every time, no exceptions, whatever. Golf, there's no such thing.
Wait, what do you mean?
Meaning when you hit that stupid ball, you have one good hit, and then you come back, you're like, I'm so good, and then it's like the shanker.
Oh, so there's really no, like, you can't there's not a practice or...
and no matter how hard I tried, it just was never good enough. Like, it was just never to where I wanted to be.
Oh, that's annoying.
So, yeah. So, I did that. Pole vault was like, I'd rather do CrossFit instead. Pole vault's really not going anywhere, whatever. So, I did CrossFit and golf for a while. And then I broke my neck. So, then whatever.
Not in pole vault.
Right.
I'm just trying to follow people's line of thinking they're going to be like, you want pole vault or you broke your neck?
I know, that would be.
So, I got into a car accident, broke my neck. Okay. So then I was like, I still want to play golf in college. Like, no matter what, like, that is how I was raised. We were doing a college sport. No exceptions.
You were all raised to do a college sport?
Like, my parents always joked, like, this was a complete joke. You're not going to college unless you get on a scholarship. Well, obviously he's not serious. My dad wasn't serious. Yeah. But even in gymnastics, like, you will do something. Like, no matter what it is, like, you will do something with it. So that's kind of like, just kind of growing up, you know.
Like that was the important, like were all of your siblings?
So I just have one brother. Yep. He just went to Ancilla College. It's like a JUCO and plays baseball up there. So, cause he just I don't really want to know what I want to do. Maybe firefighter. JUCO's fine. So yeah, that's where he went and doing that. So it's just like us two. We both went to college to play sports.
Right. So just to catch people up. So you're going through this high school experience. So at this point, again, faith hasn't been that important.
No, not at all.
So now you get to this place of saying, okay, faith hasn't really been important, but you see something on Instagram.
Yeah, I think that's cool.
Like, I mean, I gotta highlight that. I'm always the guy putting down social media.
Yeah.
Of like, what are people doing? Like, does it really have any effect? But
it clearly does.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm pointing out, like, here was social media posting something was intriguing to me.
Yeah, and they were just like random people I found on my Explorer. Like, honestly, what drew them to me, I was like, on my the page where you can search people. So like, it's just like a bunch of like, I deleted Instagram, so I don't know if it's the same or not. I haven't had it since like February. Yeah. So, but it's just like the page where it has all like pictures of things that you normally like and things like that. So it's just like what relates to you.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, well, these girls are pretty, and I like would like stalk their page. And I'm like, gosh, they love Jesus, and I think that that's so cute, you know, whatever. And so I was like, I just don't know how to be like that. And then when I came to Huntington, I met some people, and I was like, I don't want to be like them, but I understand like what they're saying now. Like I get it. Like it's all coming together. Like I didn't feel like that in the Catholic Church. And so, just coming to a different environment, seeing like that perspective was kind of cool.
Was that in the back of your mind when you chose Huntington?
No, I honestly don't know.
You don't, that wasn't at all?
I don't know.
I don't know the timing of it. Okay. So like, I don't remember when I saw them and like when I chose Huntington. Okay. So I don't remember.
But it wasn't for like, wow, I want to go and live out my Christian faith at Huntington University.
No.
Oh, wow.
I just chose because like I got the coach emailed me one day at school, and I was like, of course I'll go look. Like I was about to send my NLI to Grace, and then he's like, yeah, you're never going to play on varsity. And I was like, not what I want. So, but he, like the Huntington coach emailed me that weekend or that week. The next weekend I came up, and I love the campus. And so I was like, looking back, I'm like, that has to be a God thing.
Oh,
like,
absolutely.
Why, like got bad news, something else came, ended up loving it. Yeah. And now I'm here.
That's so cool. So.
Yeah, because again, I think this happens a lot. Like, I don't think people pick Christian colleges necessarily, especially when Christian colleges have sports. Like, they don't usually pick it because it's a Christian college. Like, they give a scholarship.
And that's all they're there for.
Yeah.
Well, because Huntington's NAI, so they can give NAI. So they can give scholarships.
Oh, they give a lot.
D3,
right.
You're not a D2, but NAI can give scholarships.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And it might not be a lot, but it's still better than nothing. And like you're still going to play somewhere. And I know like Huntington's conference is really good too. So like some of the schools around it, they compare it to like D2 schools. Right. At least I think, depending on the sport.
I don't even know what D2 NIA means. I'm just nodding.
Yeah. I didn't know NAI was a thing until I was like, Mom, this NAI school just emailed me. What is this? It's just like, it's just a different conference.
So you never even heard of Huntington or anything else?
No.
Wow.
I didn't. So.
Yeah. So again, so you get here, and at this time, the beginning of Huntington University starts to solidify this idea of what you learned as a kid, trying to figure it out, and then you solidify it together. And you start the journey of saying, like, my faith is growing, my faith is starting,
Yeah, it was like, well, one, it was weird because we'd be in chapel, and I'm like, this is not what I know. Like, this is so weird. I think, like, to me, I thought it was wrong. People raising their hands, people, like, if they were dancing, like, that's not okay. Like, you stand there and you just stand there. And so, like, and sometimes still, to me, like, if you see me in church, like, I'll stand like this all the time because I don't know what to do. Like, to me, it's still weird to do that. But for me, watching other people, I'm like, that's how you do it. Then that's how you do it. Go you. But yeah, no, I kind of think it was like the growing start over of my faith, I guess. Cause like, I love my Catholic background. I love, whatever, but like, I just didn't learn anything from it. So, I mean, it could be the start, whatever of it.
It definitely planted a seed though.
Yeah. You mean back in the past.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So now you start on this journey to talk to us about your journey in college. What has it meant to you, even from a faith perspective, friendship perspective, and then maybe how you ended up at Life Church?
Yeah. So we can start with friendships because that's like the most thing, like that's the thing that sticks out to me the most. So like in high school, right before I came to college, it was like I was friends with these people, like a group of guys and girls, so fun, whatever. They're like good people to be around, but the choices that they made were not the best. Like it was like drinking and smoking all the time. Like I stayed out of it, but they were all doing it. Like it didn't bother me, you do you, whatever. But
so can I ask you a question? What kept you out of it? Because this is always interesting to me is like, so for these people that do make the decision, everybody else is around them. What was the thing that made it so, okay, I choose not to?
Yeah. My dad grew up in that kind of situation. Like his parents let him drink from when he was really young, or like he did did drugs, and he will be open and honest and tell you stories. And for me, like, no, that was like a scary thing. Like I don't do that. And that's why he kind of told us is like, you do your own path. I'm telling you no, but like, if you choose this, I won't always know about it. Like if my brother goes off to college and does whatever he wants to do, my parents aren't going to always know about it. But he told those stories because like, these are my lessons I've learned. Don't do them. And so like hearing like, oh my gosh, he did that when he did whatever. No way am I going to trip on that, or no way am I going to make those decisions, Like that's just not how I was. Like I'm a very scared, type person. So like if they wanted to, be high on the couch, like I'm sitting there sober all the time, but like they were still good friends and like fun to be around. They just made choices that I didn't like.
Yeah. You just don't see that very often. So I always think it's interesting to get a perspective on somebody that made a choice for a certain reason, because usually it's like, I'm completely separated from those people. I don't want to be around them. You hardly ever see the person that makes a decision to still be friends with people that are still getting high.
Yeah. Well, and that's why like one of the guys that was in the group was like, I really like, I don't remember the word he used, but he's like, I really like Morgan because she says, she's a Christian, and she doesn't do those things that we do. She'll hang out with us, but like she says what she says she is. Like she doesn't, I'm a Christian, goes and drinks on a Saturday night, whatever. Or like, and he's like, I just really like that. And I'm like, well, thanks. Like that kind of means a lot, whatever. Yeah. So.
Do you think that at this time, like I'm trying to this is off the subject a little bit, but I'm interested. Were your friends that you're hanging out with, would they consider themselves Christians?
I honestly don't know. I don't think so. Some of them definitely, I know one of them he was not. He was like, he's an atheist, doesn't, whatever. Yeah. But I don't know about the rest of them, honestly.
Yeah, because I just always wondered, like, when we talk about reaching people, how much of an effect does it have when people choose to say, I'm a Christian, but I'm sleeping with everybody. I'm a Christian, but I'm getting hammered all the time. I'm a Christian and I'm getting high. Like, I just wonder
a lot
how much effect that has to the people in that group compared to just saying like, because this is what I've heard. Like, you got the people that are be like, the hardest part about Christianity is that, just use Morgan as an example. She became a Christian and now she can't ever be with us.
Right.
So it's a goody two shoes, and those people will never be around us because we're the terribles and we're the goodies, and we never get together. How often should we learn from this lesson that, why is it? Do you ever wonder that? Why is it that a Christian person can't still have friends that are getting high?
I don't know. I think.
No, seriously. Like, is it because the peer pressure is too hard? Is it because?
Maybe a little bit of that. And maybe just because they've turned their life around that they don't want to be around it. I don't know.
Yeah. I know, like, for me, no, I don't want to be around, like, those specific people anymore. But, like, if people made a bad choice, like, I'm not going to hate them for their choice, I guess. I wouldn't want to be around it. Yeah. Because, again, like, I hate, like, self-image, but I wouldn't want to be, like, somebody to say, oh, she said she's a Christian, but she hangs out with this person. So she might be doing this. That's not true. Like, I want to make an impact on that person's life. And if they're still not changing, then there's nothing I can do to help that. And, like, that's, I think, the time when I leave.
Right.
So, but I mean, at Huntington, I don't see that a whole often. So I haven't had to experience that.
But even that one guy, like what he said about, I really like Morgan and she doesn't do the stuff for a brother. Like that obviously set in his mind. Yeah. So to me, it's like a seed planted that he's gonna like go back to that. I don't know if he was an atheist or what.
I don't know. I don't talk to him anymore. Yeah. So
I just think it's, again, a lot of people think the way to make people happy is stand in the middle. And I've always been like, I've always had this stance. You will for sure know what I think. There is no in the middle. Like, this is what I think. And you can be upset with it, but you will never question what I think. Right? Like, and I think people are like, we need to stay more in the middle, be more gentle. And I'm like, listen, I don't think people like that. No. I think people want to know where you stand.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I don't think that's a big deal. Not proof that he's like, regardless of what you say, at least we know where you stand. Yeah. At least you're going to say, I am, and the decisions I make are this because you don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it, but at least I stand for something. Right. You know, instead of being in the middle. Yeah. So then you come to college, you decide to give up golf. Yeah. You know, and that's right.
Yeah. Like it was at the end of my freshman year. So going into my sophomore year, it was over. Okay. So like, whatever, I broke up with it. No, I'm just kidding. But like,
did something dramatic happen?
No, it just like didn't, like the coach and I just did not get along. Oh, so it just like did not end very well. Yeah. So whatever.
Yeah. So you start on this journey. You're in college because, again, just from the little bit I know, you're somewhat of and I have seen you work out. So you are somewhat of a driven person.
Oh yeah.
Right. Like when you set your mind to something, like you're pretty driven. Yeah. Pretty focused, you know, on what you're doing. So now you've given up golf. What is your focus now inside of college, and how has it really played out into where you are today?
Yeah. So like, again, I just started focusing on CrossFit, getting back in that, and then like just kind of creating like positive relationships. So freshman year, I had friends with everyone, like too much. I was everywhere, crazy, you know, typical freshman. And then sophomore year, I met a friend, whatever. She was like a good friend, but did not lead me in the right way. So like, that was kind of hard, you know. She was a good friend, always there for me, you know, but she just did not believe in God. She didn't, you know, think that way. We just thought two different ways. And so we roomed together sophomore year.
Oh, wow. Yeah. She was at Huntington?
Yeah. And so, she came for track and cross country.
Wow. Oh, okay. There we go. Perfect example.
Well, she went to Grace. She went to Grace first and then transferred over here because the program was better. So whatever. And I think she went to a Christian high school too. But, yeah. So crazy. But so then I got at the end of freshman year, I got in, you know, a bad relationship.
The end of your when?
Freshman year. Oh, okay. So, and then that's when my roommate sophomore year was the friends of that guy. So we all,
so it was like all around the same time. So you like had negativity all around you. So like you couldn't even like, this is your roommate. So you couldn't even like go somewhere else.
Yeah. So like we knew we were going to room sophomore year. And so it was just like, okay, you know, you can't really escape it, you know, whatever. And then with my ex, like it was like he pretended, you know, that he loved Jesus, you know, would do whatever. And then it ended up all just kind of being a lie. So that was kind of like, I was like, this is what I said. I was like, stop, like, stay with me, you know, I'll forget about it. You know, like, you know, those things that should never be said. He's like, literally, you will not. We are not, like, this is over. And so I honestly thank him because that would not be a good, like, I'd still be crying every day I come into the gym. So,
But it's hard in the moment. Yeah. Like, you do want to say, no, you don't have to love Jesus. It's okay.
Yeah, it was the first time I'd ever been broken up with too. So I was like, what is this? Like, this is so weird. Like, I've just never had a boyfriend before that either. So, like, it was just all together the first time. So,
he was your first boyfriend? I didn't know that.
Yeah. So you went through high school without a boyfriend?
Was there a reason for that?
I just didn't really talk to people.
Really?
Like
Isn't that hard to believe? I feel like that's really hard to believe.
When I walked in here, like I see her, you would think that she's just way outgoing.
Yes.
Well,
she's like, I'm a little nervous. Like, I was way surprised that she would be nervous.
Yeah, freshman year, like I said, when I got sick, so that took away like freshman, sophomore year. Like I did not want to talk to anyone.
Oh, that makes sense.
And it was just like focused on gymnastics again. Like that's where my mind was at all the time, or focused on sports. Like those people, like I was just not friends with many people, didn't really care because I was like, at the end of the 4 years, I'm never going to see you again. Peace out. Bye. Like, not going to even try with this. And plus, I grew up with friends. We were all friends since we were 2. So it's a group of 4 of us. And so I'm like, these are my friends. It does not matter. I do not need any of you guys. Yeah. Like, forget that. Like, I'm hanging out with them on the weekends. It doesn't matter. Right. So that's kind of where that was. So then I guess back to freshman and sophomore year. So ended like fall of sophomore year, that relationship, but I was still friends with my roommate and we got super close, did all the fun things together, you know, building myself back up. And then it just was like, kept getting worse. So like then when my fiance and I got together now, that's when like that friendship just started again to get worse and get worse and get worse. I'm like, I just can't be around this. Like,
so that was a friendship that you broke off of once this one started.
Yeah. So, well, no,
as a different one?
Yeah, it's a whole different thing. But so it kind of just happened naturally. Like my roommate and I just like, oh, we'll get lunch together, you know, Tuesdays, Thursdays or whatever it was. And then it just slowly stopped. And then we stopped our streak on Snapchat. We stopped texting. And I was like, honestly, I feel so much better. Like,
toxic friend.
I might not have friends, but I feel so much better. Yeah. And so that was kind of nice. I'm like, okay, now I need to find like friends who have the same thing in common with me. I'm done like messing around with people, you know, who might be fun or, you know, whatever, but like I need people who have the same thing in common.
I have nightmares. Like I'm so glad that I didn't go to college just for one reason, having a roommate.
Really? Yeah, you've said you're weird about that.
For all my life, the thought of like having another guy sleep in a room with me would be like, I don't think I'm ever going to be able to do this. And Nelson confirmed it for me. So
his jail stories?
No, not his jail story. So when we went to the Ukraine, so we were in the Ukraine, I think it was 2 weeks. So Nelson went, you know, and he was going to go to Huntington University. And so was, oh my gosh, Tony, Dave's son, not Wyatt, Josh. Okay. They were going to room together, right? So we're in this big bunkhouse, right, in the Ukraine. And again, whatever, we're on a mission trip. Right. We don't have to do it all year. So Nelson sleeps above Josh. Have you heard any of these stories?
No, I don't think so.
So Nelson's above Josh. Nelson gets a cold. So Nelson starts blowing his nose. Snot right, just throwing him over the edge.
I think I did hear about this. That is sick.
Throw him over the edge. Next thing you know, Josh wakes up in the morning, steps in him. Steps in all these snot rags. You know, and I'm like, see, would be the life.
So that did it for you.
Oh, that
and then, one moment.
Well, and then again, Nelson got out of the shower and he's butt naked. Goes and sits on the bed, Josh, on his pillow. Butt naked on his pillow.
Hey, at least he's clean.
Josh comes walking in. Why? Why?
Bro, just flip the pillow around.
Right, exactly.
Those thoughts of having another guy in the room. Are you
serious?
With me, I mean, I swear I'd die having to have another guy in a room. Wow. No, I would not be a good
Sounds traumatic
for you. Sorry, that was
it's kind of funny because roommates and I, like my roommate and I now are fine, but I hate sleeping with people. Oh. Like it's just a weird thing.
Like in the same room?
Yeah. Like if I have a friend come over, you know, to my house, okay, you'll sleep on the floor, you know, whatever. But I'm like, I do not want to sleep at all that night. Cause like, I don't know what I do in my sleep.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so you're paranoid? So weird. Like,
oh my gosh. What if you just lean over and fart? Yeah, somebody in the room.
I mean, there's many things. I've had a ton of roommates, you guys. Rehabs, jails, like try using the restroom in the same like living space in front of somebody.
It's like, who wants to go in a communal shower? Like that was a thing too. Like I didn't know this, but like, Huntington at one time still had communal showers.
The boys and girls?
Oh, I don't know. We have like community bathrooms.
Like all the girls' showers. Like you have to shower with other people.
Yeah, we don't shower with other people, but like our shower, like at least my dorm now is like a pod, and like our pod will share like the 2 toilets and then a bath or the shower.
Like there was time like you walk down the hallway to the shower, like camping.
Yes.
Oh,
well,
awful.
I remember that because my sister went to HU and I remember staying the night with her, and in the bathroom, I thought I was young. So I had to been like 8 or something. And in the, like on the floor that she was on, it was the bathroom with the men. And I'm like 8 years old, just like, you know, like it was just so weird.
I would be terrified.
Isn't that weird?
No,
like, do they still have that? The different sex bathroom?
No, we have it separated by like dorms.
Okay, so now it's the dorms.
Yeah.
Okay.
Either way, that was off the subject. But the thought of having a roommate just kept sitting here thinking that'd be the worst.
Yeah.
Well, like, you never have to.
Couldn't do that. No, I know. Thank the Lord. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, so you're through your
sophomore, junior.
Yeah. So now you're at the place in your life where you're feeling like, hey, you're where you want to be.
Yeah.
Where God. So when did you end up at Life Church?
I ended up. When was that? Was it sophomore year?
It would have been,
Junior year?
It would have been either sophomore or freshman.
So I came to Champ sophomore year because I needed a gym to come to. And then obviously Rayan and I are besties, you know, whatever, that kind of stuff. No, I'm just kidding.
Way to go, Rayan.
But
Yeah, no, really.
She's like my second mom. She's taken me in. She's amazing. But so I think I started coming. I'd come like once, you know, every once in a while, whatever. And then I think sophomore year or junior year is when I kind of started coming more. And then like the end of last year is like when I started helping with the kids ministry and things like that.
Right.
So yeah, kind of sophomore.
Yeah, so you
junior
feel
year.
like things are coming together now for you. So you're in your senior year. Thank Sharon, right? You're going to get to the end of it.
Yes.
Going to get married,
Yeah.
right? So talk a little bit about like, how do you see God using you now, or how do you want him to use you in the future? Because again, the one thing that obviously you can see through this podcast is you are a driven person, right? And so you're going to use some of that drive, not only in your own success, but talk about how do you want to see God use you in the future?
Yeah. So like we talked about, you know, love CrossFit, want to start my own gym, but I love like what you guys have here is like the gym in the church. So I'm like, that would be so cool somehow to start a gym in the church, either if it be like a different building, same building, you know, whatever. But that would be really cool. But I just think like God can work through me like in a way of just like helping people get fitter, smarter about, you know, nutrition, things like that. He's like, I don't know. I don't think working in like kids ministry is my thing. Not that you have to like work in the church, but I just think like God has called me from such a young age. Like fitness is your thing. Like that is what you're going to do. And that is like how you're going to do it. So
Well, and I think that that's an example though of like saying, this is the struggle for so many people. Like, can I really make a difference if I don't volunteer at the church? Right. Like, so that's why we always say like one of the important things about understanding the church is the church always needs volunteers, right? To just get some things done, right? It doesn't have to be your calling. It doesn't have to be the thing that you want to do all of your life. We just need to be able to create an environment. We're going to be talking about this in the next few Sundays. Like we need to create an environment so that if you're inviting your friends, there is a place for kids. So you have to do that. But don't let that be but that's what I'm going to do to reach people, right? Like find the thing that you're passionate about. And I think that's what's cool, you know, when you're talking about like my passion is fitness. And so I'm going to try to figure out how to use that passion to be able to reach people for Jesus.
Yeah. And it is hard because like I've grown up like you don't talk about religion, you know, you don't. So I'm like, how do I do that without like, you know, offending people, I guess, or like crossing a line? Like, you're supposed to talk about it. But again, like the back of my mind, like, you don't talk about that, like, you know, whatever. So I'm like, I just don't know. And I don't know if you like always need to talk about it necessarily. Like, it's more of just like being a nice person and like changing that person's life in like some other way. Could be a way you could do it too. So like just trying to find that balance of like, how do you like talk about it, not talk about it, be a good person, you know, like how does that all
you were talking about this yesterday.
Huh?
You were speaking about this yesterday, weren't you? Was that yesterday or the week before?
Right.
I can't remember.
Well, I mean, again, so give me your thoughts on it, because I do think that that's interesting, because this is the dilemma for so many people.
So
what
many
do
people.
I do? Like, how am I going to work it in, and how does it work? And
Yeah.
Mike says we need to share the gospel, and what does it mean to share the gospel? And you know, do I just be like, hey, put one up for Jesus? You know, one more rep for Jesus. Like, how does that work? Like, how do we do that?
Well, I think people, that's like their number one thing of like, the reason why they can't do it is because they're thinking, oh, well, I need to know scripture. I need to know this, like, or I'm not a good speaker, or I just don't know what to say. And those things are what are stopping people, or even like just hearing you from having like a different background. Like those things are set in stone I mean, you did that, like you learned that at a young age, but really it's just being in relationship with people and then them knowing you're a Christian, like just like that guy, you know, who was like, well, you don't do this, but I know you're a Christian. Like, that's amazing. So just being in relationship with people and they can just see you. If you really are truly living for Jesus, that's a way to turn them. 'Cause having somebody tell scripture to you or throw Jesus down your throat is the worst thing that anybody could do. Because if they're not in the right state of mind, then they're going to reject that. And then they're going to be like, not even wanting to talk about Jesus, maybe even farther in their walk.
Right. Because they're throwing religion down their throat.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, this is what I've always said to people is I said, it starts first with, you have to love God with all of your heart, mind, and soul. So it has to start with this. I do have a personal relationship. I am spending time with him. I do feel filled by him. I do feel like I'm being led, you know, because I think what we forget sometimes is we want to just jump into the work.
Yes.
Right. So I need to go out there and I need to evangelize and I need to volunteer and I need to do it. I'm like, the first thing you need to do is have a relationship where you can be led.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you don't have that leading, this just becomes religion, right? Like I'm just checking things off a box because I'm doing all these things. So I'm like, focus on that. So the first thing we do, just really love God with all of your heart, mind, and soul, and figure out how to build that personal relationship so that you can have those things. And then I'm very adamant about, there have been very few people in 20 years of doing ministry that I've ever shared the gospel with. Meaning like, hey, let me tell you about Jesus. And hey, you know, while you're out here, you know, like you kind of work it in over lunch.
Yes.
You know, type of, like I don't do that. Like I love on people and I serve them.
Yeah.
So whatever I can do to serve people, like people that are right now that are my friends that aren't believers at all, like I just serve them.
Right.
I love them. I do anything, you know, I can do to build a relationship with them. I walk down the road with them. And then I believe that if I'm being led, and if I have a relationship and if I'm praying for this person, that I'm believing God's doing a work.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a time where they're going to ask, they're going to give an opportunity, and then we're going to be able to share the gospel, invite them to church, invite them to lunch, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you're going to
feel comfortable.
This chance, right? Like I just think that, at least for me, I think if we do that with purpose, but I think where it gets lost is that, you know, people are like, oh, I'm going to do this personal training and I'm going to try to reach people for Jesus, but you're never really spending any time with Jesus. You know what I mean? Like you're doing the work
you're trying to
Jesus,
push something.
but you're really never, you know, and so I don't think those two things go together. I think that's where it gets lost.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah. So because I think a lot of people struggle, don't you? Like, do you think people struggle on having a personal relationship?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Like trying to figure out what is that daily, you know, like, I love you, Lord. Like,
I think we overcomplicate that as well.
Talk about that.
Like, I think that, I don't know. I think that people, don't understand Jesus or God in itself because you can't hear him. Like, physically. And I think that's hard for people to understand, even if you are a Christian, and it may not have been taught correctly, or you may not even know that you can go directly to Jesus. So I just think.
So talk about that, Jenny, is that, so this is what we challenge people on Sunday. We said you should have an intentional relationship with Jesus and an intentional relationship with other people, right? Like, so, and I was pretty adamant about this. Like, you just need to figure out how to do it. There's lots of ways to do it. And so the people that say it can only be done in one way. So maybe people that you have seen, or maybe in your own life, what have you guys done? Like, to be able to say, like, this is what I do to help me grow. And maybe it's seasonal. Like, I've done this for a while, and I've done this for a while, and I've tried this for a while. You know, what are the things that have helped you, or what have you seen other people do that maybe our audience could, because I would say you guys were just like the audience. We're like, I don't know, like it's kind of hard because how do I build a personal relationship with somebody I can't see? So do you have thoughts, Jenny?
Yeah. So, I mean, throughout my years, it's taken me a long time to be able to like grasp the fact that I need to have alone time with God. Cause I think it's just go, go, go. You go to church, you go to the second church on Wednesday, and then it was just never taught to me to physically sit down and be quiet. So now I've gotten into more of a mode where every morning I do my devotions. So just setting aside time where you are specifically with God and no other distractions can come up.
What do you do in that time?
What do you mean, like devotions?
Well, I don't know. I mean, that's what, again, back to people asking this question. So do I have a devotional?
Yeah.
Do I do a daily bread? Do I just kind of sit there and listen? Do I hum and meditate?
Yeah.
Do I read a book? Do I and I'm not saying one's right or wrong.
No, I know.
Do you have a rhythm?
Yeah.
Or something that you
so
do?
I use the Bible app, and I have usually like 3 to 4 things going on there. But the most important part that I realized was I turn my notifications off. So I put it on do not disturb, like automatically. So whenever I open up the Bible, it automatically do not disturb. So I'm not.
Meaning because you're going to get a bunch of notifications.
Right. Yeah. And that's easier to be like, oh, I need to respond to this or I need to work or something. So that helps me be distracted free. But after I do the devotionals, I will journal about them. So then as I'm journaling about maybe something that stood out to me or something, usually it ends up with me just like having a prayer with God. Like I'm just talking, you know? So it opens up. It's kind of like, I feel like sometimes it's like a therapist. Like whenever I'm like journaling or like talking to God, it's just like things are like aware that I never.
Yeah. And when do you do yours?
In the morning.
You do? What?
I wake up,
What's morning?
7:30.
Holy crap, what happened to you?
I told you. No, I've been waking up at 7:30. I just
word.
go to
That's
bed.
like
No, I just go to bed
So
at like
the podcast
2:30.
audience, this is a complete revelation because you just get up at 1.
No, I like back in the day I did, and this was a long time ago.
Oh, we used to tell the stories of watching TV till 4 a.m. So
Yeah, I mean that still happens, but I'm still getting up at 7.
shoot,
Bro, I don't know how you function.
That's why I oversleep sometimes.
Give her some health advice.
Yeah, for real though. I am
You know why she has a broken hip?
because
Tell
you
her
don't
why.
sleep.
See?
You don't recover. You don't recover.
Don't recover. You
Yeah,
don't
that's
recover.
true. Yeah.
See? Come on, trainer. Give it to her.
Yeah,
All right, what else? What else? What else is wrong?
All I know is when I don't get enough sleep, I am not a person to talk to. Like I am so mean. It is
How much
so
sleep
bad.
do you need?
I know.
I mean, the average, like
No,
what
for
I've
you,
learned.
for you.
For me, I try to get like.
Because people are different.
Yeah.
People are different.
Especially like last year, I'm trying to get back on it. Is like going to sleep at 10 and waking up at 8. So like
Whoa.
8-10 hours. That's what I try to get.
No, there's a lot of people that are.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of people like, if I don't get 8 to 10, I'm done.
Yeah.
10
Done.
hours?
I mean, there are like days where I'm like, okay, 5 is, good, whatever.
Right.
But like, if I go multiple days, I am just a different person.
Yeah.
That's
So,
insane.
yeah, it's
No,
bad.
I've heard a lot. I mean, I think you have to figure out your body.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe give us so from you, how do you feel like your devotional time? And
Yeah.
what do you do? And like, what can people learn from?
Yeah. So I'm kind of bad. Like it goes in phases of like good with like quiet time and not. And like what she was saying is like we all get super busy. And so like learning to like slow down is so hard. And so like I'm always like, why? Like you can literally pray in the shower. Like everyone showers like once a day, right? I mean, you should at least. So
Well.
like, yeah, you should. Can't say I always do, but that's a different topic. Anyways, so yeah, I'm like, okay, at least like pray in there. Like, that's still like 20 minutes, whatever. I don't know how long people shower, but that's still like a good opportunity to like do that. So like, say I don't do my devotional, I at least try to like, pray in the shower. I'm not on my phone. There's really no like distractions, I guess. So like, that's kind of like my minimum is like just trying to spend time like there and then, trying to get on a regular schedule of like doing my devos because I'm not the best at that.
Yeah.
Honestly, it's so hard and I hate it. Like,
I think it's hard to a lot of people.
Why is it so hard? Like, why is watching TV so much easier? You know what I'm saying though? And I'm like, maybe it's because like you don't physically see him or hear him. So it's like, well, then it's harder to just do this simple thing that literally could take like 5 minutes. It's not that difficult, yet we make it so hard.
So hard.
Yeah.
I always tell people like, this has been the rhythm for me. It's fill space that start triggers. Yep. So for me, it's like, there've been times in my life where it's been like every single morning and you're going to get up and it's a certain routine you've done. And then there's other times it's like all of my space where I'm alone. So whether it's feeding calves or, whether nobody's at home, it's like, what do I fill the space with? And so it's this whole idea of, can there be other things that help with that process that aren't over in the morning?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like get it over with in the morning and then there's nothing else. So what are those things? Well, I don't like music. you know, so I don't listen to any music. So what do I start doing? Well, that's when podcasts and audiobooks and, you know, different things trigger this questioning or relationship with Jesus. Like, oh, I'm thinking about this. I never really thought about it before. So things that will open up my mind to build the relationship.
That's a good way
you know
to
what
think
I mean?
of it.
Because the problem always was, it's like, you're telling me to build a relationship. I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, like, what's going to trigger those thoughts? I need something to trigger thoughts. You know, so this whole idea of like, oh, I never thought about that. And then I can be like, God, what do you think? And let's talk back and forth, because I've never really thought about this. And I read a book, or I listened to a podcast, or I watched a documentary, or you know what I mean? Like, I'm a big, you know, the Manti Te'o, did you hear this?
I haven't watched it yet.
Yeah, so Manti Te'o, Notre Dame guy, gets catfished by this guy that becomes a girl that essentially ends up like
destroying his life.
They were loving it. He loved, well, he's a man, but you play it.
Right,
yeah,
but
so
He didn't know what to do, and he ended up like talking about, you know, this idea of like, I don't know how to end it, so she got killed in a car accident. She didn't really get killed.
No, right,
but they played the whole thing out to the point of like, so his senior year at Notre Dame, essentially it was like, hey, I'm playing for my girlfriend who got killed.
He said that?
Yeah, playing for his girlfriend that got killed, which wasn't really a real person. It was a man.
He never met her, like, over, like, they never did.
So the point is, he's talking about his faith, right? So he's talking about, he grew up in Polynesian culture where the Church of Latter-day Saints was huge in the Polynesian culture. So he's talking about faith. So it just triggered these things in my mind, like thinking about his journey and how you go through this journey and how faith played out and how, you know, the Mormon church even ended up in the Polynesian culture. And like, so it triggers things to make me think about things that I wouldn't naturally think about. So I'm not much of a box person. Like, I'm terrible about like the same thing all the time, every single day. So I'm like, I've said a lot of sermons in 18 years have been wrote on feed bags.
On what?
Feed bags. So I'll be feeding calves and I'll be like, oh, I never thought about that. And then I go write my message
on a bag?
On a feed bag.
Oh my gosh.
So
have you saved
down
them?
The thoughts, and then the kids would laugh about it. They can tell you times. They have pictures of it.
Oh, I bet.
Where they come in and be like, oh, Dad, I'm working on his message.
That's funny.
You know, but I just don't want to get caught up in like it has to be done a certain way. Because some of the greatest moments, I said yesterday when I said the Francis Chan, you know, where Francis Chan said, I can remember the day I was feeding calves in the morning, listening to the book, and I sat down on a bucket and cried, and I never cried.
Wow.
But this moment happened in the midst of feeding cows.
Yeah.
Right? So I just want to it can happen in the midst of hiking. You know, it can happen in the midst of being in a tree stand. It can happen in the midst of, like, I just think we need to be careful. Like, the only time we can work on the relationship is like 20 minutes in the morning when I'm doing a devotional. And I don't know. Like, what is it that's going to trigger your mind to build relationship stuff? And I think we just need to figure that out. And I think each person's different. You know, and what's it going to be? So that's where I want to challenge.
Yeah, I like that. Talking to him throughout the day.
Yeah, or just figuring it out. Like, I don't know, what does trigger it for you?
I like that though with the podcast, because I listen to this Christian podcast, but I just never even like considered that to be
like your
like
time
working,
with him.
working on the relationship.
Yeah, well, again, I don't know. What do you think about it?
I mean, I think I just never realized that, and it's like clicking, and I'm like, oh, that does make sense.
Yeah,
because it does. Like, I think more about it.
Well, because I think it's back to, you know, the problem with the world today is we've made it all about religion, and even devotions are religion.
Yeah, there.
You know what I mean? Like, I did my religious duty, I checked it off, I did my devotions. Now I'm going to go do my life. I'm just like, I don't know, kind of like the whole gamut.
Yeah. Like, I mean, I think if you're doing your devotions and then like you are doing that religious part and then you go out through your life and you're not acting like Christ-like, I think that would be considered just doing it just to do it.
Well, I'm just like surprised there aren't more people like me that just needed reminded throughout the whole day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I have to do something when my mind is empty. So when I'm doing empty things.
That's hard to believe. Huh? Your mind gets empty?
Meaning that I'm doing mindless activities.
Oh, okay.
I'm mowing the yard, I'm feeding cows, and like mindless activities. Like, I don't even have to think about what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I've fed calves so many times I could do it in my sleep. Yeah. You know, or running the skid loader, or being on a mower, or even being on the treadmill. Yeah. Like, it's mindless activity. Yeah. I want to fill it with things that are going to remind me why I'm here.
Yeah.
Like, I just need that. And some people don't call that devotions, but why isn't it devotions?
Yeah.
Right.
It's reminding me why I'm here. So there's been a lot of good. And again, I tie in secular culture along with Christian culture, because one of the best books I've ever read is You Can't Hurt Me, right? And so that guy, this whole like get it through your mind that you can do more than you really can, because your mind holds your body back. We'll take that with Christianity and put it together with like, hey, part of the reason that holds us back as Christian people is we let our mind get in the way. We believe lies.
Yeah.
You know, so he talks about training the mind. So it's putting together, but I always kind of filter it in like, oh God, I get it now. Like when you're talking about capturing your thoughts, and he's doing it in a whole like workout capacity.
Yeah.
I'm always thinking about it in like a purpose capacity.
Right.
So I just need reminded all the time why I'm doing things, because otherwise I get off track.
Yeah.
You know, so... All right, so we're at the end of the time. Did we get any questions?
You know, I think we did. I don't know how many. So I accidentally scheduled the text to go out for tomorrow. Yeah. And I was wondering why I hadn't received anything. And then I finally figured out when we sat down before. So I sent out a text last minute, and we actually did get some.
Oh, yeah.
I know. This is exciting. All right. So from Kaylin Griffith. She wants to know, what is your favorite thing about Life Church?
Honestly, it's been like a super welcoming place. So like, and I like, they're easy messages for me to pick up and then like go back and think. And I like always tell John, like, this is what I learned today. How, like, help me. How do I do this? How do I like, let's do it together? Or like, it's just something that I genuinely like look forward to. It's just fun to be here, fun to... I know that's like kind of a cheesy answer, but it's like the truth.
Yeah.
So
you work out here. Yeah. I mean, a lot of good things have happened for you here.
It's kind of where I've been instead of school.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome.
All right. Adam Shoemaker wants to know, how can we use exercise to bring others closer to Jesus?
I know. So like, again, working through them, just kind of being like a nice person. I know like this is kind of a different question, but like for me, sometimes I'll have to like pray before I work out and like, okay, we have to bring Jesus into the workout session. Like, you're not doing this for you.
Yeah.
Like, he's supposed to be working through you, and like you know, glorify him through like your work. And so like, you can take it either two ways. Again, like if you're going to help somebody, just like be kind, you know, work with them, you know, help them with what they need, you know, just be there for them, all those things. And then like, if you're using it for yourself too, just like remember those things. It's like, it's not for you, it's for him. So
that's good.
Well, I think again, like that, like one of the things that personal trainers or people help us do is learn to be disciplined again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like when you discipline your mind, because part of the problem with, you know, when we look at this whole Christian aspect, I think too many times we just narrow it down too much, because we have to realize like part of our problem is we really don't have disciplined minds.
No.
So part of our problem is when our mind's not disciplined, how do you think about living on purpose? Because you're all over the map where, you know, personal trainers are very good at this. They get us to this mindset of like, if you want to be healthy, right, you need to be disciplined. So you need to think about what you eat. You need to think about being on a routine. You need to work out, and you're going to not feel good in the beginning. You're going to feel better in the end. That all of that discipline makes us get to that place. And so doing that, again, even just for the sheer purpose of we're teaching people how to train their mind. Then once they connect it together with, oh, wow, faith, they've got over one of the hardest parts, training your mind. And I think that's a great.
That is the hardest part.
Yeah.
Okay, Sally Knuckles.
Okay, yeah, she's so sweet.
I know, I love Sally. She wants to know, what does she plan on doing when she graduates? Love Morgan and her positive attitude, and looking forward to seeing her back in the gym.
She's so cute.
I know.
She's like my favorite person, like come see in the mornings. Like I love that group.
Yeah.
Anyways, afterwards, just like kind of starting off small, you know, getting my foot in the door, figuring out what I like and what I don't like. So like after the semester, during the semester, I'm taking a precision nutrition course. So like, it's like a certification, you know, to be a nutrition coach. So I can like do that next semester and just kind of like leading in, you know, have that being a personal trainer, but probably just starting off as personal training or, you know, strength and conditioning. But I think personal
because
training.
you're probably not going to stay around here.
I'm going back
to Indy.
Yeah, I'm going back home, which is kind of sad. Like it's over. Like I said earlier, like it's over. Like my life here is like done after this. So it's so weird. But yeah, I guess just like being a personal trainer, because that's like the easiest way to get your foot in the door.
Yeah, builds experience.
And I think that's the most like simple thing to start out with, instead of like working with a team and like strength and conditioning or whatever,
right.
you know, like working with like track people. I don't know anything about track. I don't really want to teach them about track. So like,
makes sense.
Being a personal trainer would be the easiest, most simple way to start out.
Yeah, and again, being strength and conditioning coaches at colleges, I think all of that builds in once you build a repertoire.
Yeah.
Like I've done it for a while. This is what we've seen.
Yeah.
So good.
All right. The next one is Keely Oswald wants to know, what are you studying and how do you use that for the kingdom?
Yeah. So exercise. Yeah.
Right. I think, you did.
That one we've answered pretty well.
Talk about it again.
Yep. And those are it.
Good.
Right.
Wow. That's amazing. 4 questions in like 40 minutes.
No, that's good. So Jenny, give us the number, so that everybody that's listening can get the number. Everybody that's watching, this podcast can get a part of this text group, because it's a great opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah. And it can go both ways. I mean, we send out texts every week, but we also want you to send them back. Whether you have questions or somebody that would be a good fit on the podcast, or you would want to be on the podcast, we just want everything. We just want to have like a conversation with you. We want to be in relationship with you. We want your ideas to be on the show, because we would like to do a Q&A. Well, I really would like to. Wouldn't that be fun, a Q&A?
Not me, you.
You know how I love questions.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, the number for it is 260-408. I did that wrong. 8383.
What did you do?
I did it right. I did it right.
I was going to say, Nick's giving you the thumbs up.
Well, I was confused about the 8, but I did it right. So
you got it.
408-8383. Text us.
Yeah. So again, we wanted to say to our listeners, first of all, we just appreciate you guys tuning in.
Yeah.
Because again, part of it shows an unselfishness to get to know other people. A lot of people are like, well, I only listen to this one podcast and, I like it better. And I'm like, listen, part of this podcast is get to know new people. It's an opportunity to get to know for a couple different reasons. One, you can see them on a Sunday morning and say hi.
Right.
The other part of it is that so you want to talk about like personal relationship stuff. Like what we should be doing is like, when you listen to this, most of the people that have been on here, like, this is what I'm hoping God will do in our life. Well, you should be personally praying for them.
Yeah.
Right. It gives you an opportunity to be in a relationship with somebody that you might not even know. You could be praying about their journey and praying about, where they're going inside of it. So we love that you keep listening. Again, Jenny's giving you opportunities to subscribe. So we'd love for you guys to subscribe to our YouTube or again, get on our notifications so you can know when our podcasts are downloaded and share it with other people. We'd love for that to be able to happen so that we can continue to have a reach, continue to have an opportunity to reach more people. And so again, we're going to be praying for this week. Exciting year, right?
I know.
Exciting year. Lots going to be going on. And again, I'm going to be praying specifically for you in this way, that God can take that laser focus that you have, and that intensity. And again, use you in a way to be able to just, pour into the lives of people. Because I think, in watching you and listening to you talk, you're very giving, excitable person who's, when you do decide, it's not going to be a question of whether you're in it or not.
Right. Yeah.
So we're going to pray for opportunities. That God opens the doors and you can clearly see like these are the places that you're going to go, and that again, you and your future husband will be a great team. And God will use you guys in a lot of ways. So we just appreciate you being on this.
I appreciate it.
Yes,
thanks for sharing. And again, thanks for listening. And when you do, or watching, and when you do see this, when Jenny puts it out, share it. Again, like it. We want more people to know what's happening. So thanks, and we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Bye.